Hey, Vinyl Community, Jeff here with a little bit of new stuff that came in and a little story behind it, because this was really interesting, at least to me. Now, I know we're probably talking about a band here that a lot of you are not familiar with. You may have heard me mention them because I have shown them at time to time, but they're more of a, lesser known band. But if you like your music, well, I can't say that these guys even have a style because almost every album's a little different, but they tend to be lumped into the death doom at times. And I use the term death loosely because the vocal stylings that is usually on the albums that are on the heavier side are not like extreme, but they're, I can understand the majority of what's being said. So they're not as extreme as some, but they are, kind of a little harsher and then at times mellow. But they have a lot of their albums are not instrumental. There is some instrumental elements. There is some acoustic elements. They have entire acoustic albums, as you'll see. Melodic vocals at times. It's hard to describe. But anyway, I'm talking about My Silent Wake. Now, I have mentioned them before. I mentioned them in my series on when I showed Seventh Angel, because that was one of the singer was in the early band in the 80s, 90s called Seventh Angel. And then he started putting these out. The My Silent Wake band's first release was 2006. So here's what happened. So this album is the 2013 album that came out. And I've seen it, it was eventually issued on vinyl. And I've seen it from time to time, and it's always been around the same price. And one day I decided to finally order it. And then the company got back to me and said, I don't even know why that was on our site, because we don't have a copy of that. So that fell through. And then I couldn't find it at this place, couldn't find that place. Well, I could have bought it from the band. The band is overseas, however, so shipping and everything. But I got a notice from them on Bandcamp that this album was on sale for $10. Now, it is from the UK, so the shipping put it back up there at what you would expect to pay for a regular album in the US without shipping. But I was pleased to get that because I'm like, cool. Now, see, this album is 13 new acoustic songs. So this is one of their mellower albums, and it's not in that doomy death type style. But anyway, so I went ahead and I ordered this. Now, the reason I'd been thinking about them on top of that was the fact that their newest album dropped digitally, and I had been listening to that online. Well, wouldn't you know it, like 2 days after I placed the order for this, I get a notification saying that their new album is now available to be pre-ordered on vinyl. And I'm like, if only I could have saved the shipping and ordered them together. So I quickly shot him a message. I thought, well, it doesn't hurt to try. Shot him a message through Bandcamp. I said, hey, look, if my order has not been shipped yet, can we cancel it? Let me reorder and combine it with the new album, blah, blah. Can we work out something? And I thought, they always take days to get back to people usually. But like an hour later, the singer for the band writes me back and said, yes, absolutely, not a problem. So the singer has directly reached out to say that. So he said, I haven't mailed it yet. It'll probably be, the first of the week before I mail it. This was like on a Thursday or Friday. And so I'm like, great. So that was perfect. The singer has commented on my videos, at least one of them, I think. So I know he is online. So I added to that the brand new album from 2024, Lost in Memories, Lost in Grief. A little note from the singer says, thanks a lot for your order. And so, yes, I was able to add this brand new album that just dropped on clear vinyl, added that to the order for the same amount of shipping. Now, he said, was there anything else you wanted while I'm preparing this stuff before we do it? And I thought, it doesn't hurt to ask. I said, your album, In a Garland of Tears, that was released on vinyl in 2008, and has been out of stock, forever. So you wouldn't happen to have any copies of that laying around, would you? He wrote back and said, absolutely, and if not, I'm sure I can find one. He said, give me some time. I said, okay, sure. And then a little while later, he wrote back and said, I have found one. He sold it to me for a very reasonable price. Very reasonable price, like pretty cheap. And he said, sure. He said, now, I think that might actually be the last one because I guess he could find more. So I was able, just by asking, to pick up this gem in Garland of Tears from, like I said, it was a 2008 release. It's got a certificate of authenticity in here that basically says that this album was released October 21st, 2008. There are 212 copies, with 312 copies, 212 on black, 100 on a red black combo, and I have number 284 of 312, and it's got a signature there. So, boom. Reach out. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? And I asked, and he said yes. And I got the money to him for this one and was able to pick these up. So now, that legitimately fulfills or completes all the vinyl releases by the band that they have out. These are the ones I already had. An Everlasting Light. This is actually their 2000, and this is a 2014 album, but it's a vinyl reissue of their 2010, and they remixed the songs and added some other stuff. So it's actually a little different than the 2010 release, but it's in the 2010 release. And then Damnatio Memoria is their 2015 album. And so, yeah, I've had this for a little while. And There Was Death is their 2018 release. Now, there is a 2023 album that came out, which is one of the more mellower. These are all, pretty much the metal stuff. And there's a 2023 album that came out that's one of the more mellower. It's got a lot of ambient sounds. It's got, it's more laid back. Not on vinyl, but it is on CD, which I ordered. I've got almost all of their stuff on CD. And I had to order that new one from overseas to get that, so that's on its way. But there you go. That completes my Silent Wake vinyl with those three there. And if you're interested, check them out. They're on all the streaming services. Check out their newest album, like I said, which just dropped a couple weeks ago, and see if you're into it. This is one of the heavier ones that they do, so you'll get a taste for it. But you can check some of their other stuff. And that's it for this one. Thanks a lot for watching. Rock on and rock hard.